Hello guys, I should be on live right now. Okay, hi everyone. Let me know if you see me well and if you hear me before I start the session. Just wanted to say that we heard you feedbacks, and we brings back the trading room as usual on the New York session. So it will be 9 a.m. Eastern time from now, and the Monday forecast will be on YouTube. Then everyone could be check, watch, and discuss together about the market environment and opportunities that we can find together. Talking about the news, talking about the macroeconomy. A lot of things are going on. You see a lot of pressure in the capital markets that lead to also a big movement in the forex market. For example, the yen. For example, the dollar. The dollar, as we told last week. So let me know, guys, if you see me and if you hear me perfectly before I start. See you here, James. Thank you, James, for the feedback. All good. We hear you and see you. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so let's start. I want to show you a chart. We already talked about this chart last week, but it's still very important to start with this asset, and I'm going to talk about the dollar today. The interest rate on US has bounced twice as the expected. Okay, we got it will be increased by 0.5 point basis, so it lead to an increase in the bonds. And of course, the dollar will continue. It's a hedge against inflation, and the inflation is burning in all the world after all the quantitative easing that puts the Fed and all the central banks in the world. So this is here the main thing. So let me show you the chart before. The XY. So all the macro environment says that the dollar going to continue to rise. Technically, I still feel that there might be some interesting opportunities to take off in the dollar, and I will just show you the chart. Okay. That's not here. Okay. So this is the chart of the dollar index. For people and traders that were with me last week, this is still okay, let me check what is not. Okay, let me refresh the chart. Never mind. I will refresh trading view from now. Okay, perfect. Okay, so here we are. Okay, on the dollar index, you see that from July 21 we reached the top here at 104 approximately. We made a new high. Okay, it's a 20 years high. But the market already give a little leg, a small leg on the downside. What I expected, and what also I told last week, is that when we reach this type of zone after a great extension, for me this is like an overextended movement. When I go to the H4 chart, for example, maybe to the daily chart, when you see this was a RC trend line, investors came in all the time to create a portfolio and hedge against inflation after the Fed puts quantitative easing into the market. From here, okay, when the price overextended, okay, generally it's very difficult to attract any more buyers at this zone, where this is the weekly, not the weekly, but the yearly zone for yearly supply level for the dollar. So you will see in the news, and you will see in all the market, in all the let's say in all the news and articles like Bloomberg, like investing.com, like Reuters, that all the big investors and all the banks want to hedge themselves into the dollar, but they probably hedged themselves already before. Okay, when you see this type of extension here, as a trader, when I want to trade on a daily basis and on a day trading, I don't want to make a buy here. It may be difficult, it may be very dangerous as well to make a buy on the long term, but I want to find a short term or few days, few hours of a retracement into that zone. And we already identified last week that you can also like find my last video on last week, but I expected the dollar not maybe to go below, but to make something like that and to trade between a range. Okay, it generally make this type of movement when you reach a yearly supply level, and that's exactly where we are right now. Okay, so we are still in the zone here. Even we break out above here, it's still a fake out for me. This is the average price. Okay, so it's great ups and down, and of course it's exactly in the zone here that is the monthly and yearly supply. So I don't expect to see a breakout instantly, maybe in a few months, but we are still in the zone right now, and we will see what's going to happen this week. If we see that the capital markets and US indices will continue to drop, we will see likely a movement in the upside again to reach maybe 105. That's probably being the next zone. Yeah, 106.7. This is the middle supply. If we break above, we will highly reach to that zone. Again, there is still some space and some space here to make a shorter movement. Hence, I will be talking about indices just after. For me, the main important thing for me here was to talk about the dollar. We see a large movement on the dollar index that is also closed and linked to the indices. But yes, huge movement on the indices as well. I will move just right now into the indices. But you will see that everything is a bit connected, is correlated as well. We are definitely in a risk-off environment. You will see the capital market and US indices dropping, while the dollar getting rising and increasing in terms of value. Generally, when we are in this type of risk-off environment, we'll also find commodities rising. Today we see that gold and silver as a bit losing value, but I expect, and we will talk about this just after as well, this might be an opportunity in the mid-term, long-term to make an investment on the gold and on the silver as well, as we are in a risk-off environment. And technically on gold and silver we are in a very weekly demand zone as well. Okay, so let's move on to the indices. I will go with the classic one, the S&P, and I also want to show after the VIX, VIX. Okay. In the weekly chart, we are still at this zone here, not dropping much below. I want to check the opening in 20 minutes to see how the market react, but we are still in the zone. Okay, we are like dancing around this low here. This is a very strong down trend, but I'd expect that we can find some buying opportunities. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, on the H1 we respect here this demand here one time, and here this is very this is not strong. Again, after this type of huge movement on the downside, generally I will make the history here on the chart when the Fed as explained has come with the news that they're going to increase the interest rate. Okay, all the market went up, and then turned into a lower place, making a sell-off in almost all the assets. Buying the dollar and selling all the risky assets here. I want to check the VIX before I'm going to continue with the indices, because generally when you see the VIX, it gives us an indication where we stand. Yeah, we are still in the range here. We are still here. I still think that here might be a great selling place on the VIX, and of course a buying opportunity on the S&P. If we see the Nasdaq, yeah, pre-market already here. This is not that. I'll go to Nasdaq. Maybe this might not be relevant here. Yeah, we still should be very careful. We are still here in a zone that can attract some investors in the long term. Okay, making like a fresh buy for the long term. As you see, it was here a reaction. Again, this is still a zone for me where it can attract some buyers, especially when I see the VIX standing at 30, 34, 35 levels, and I don't feel that we're going to break it straight away. Yeah, I still think that it can attract some buyers in the long term here, and still this is going to be the same for the S&P. I'm still looking for short-term movement at least here. Okay. Might be very difficult. I want to move on to some commodities and some Forex pairs into the MT5. One of the first opportunity that came this morning at the opening was the euro dollar that still respect this huge support, daily support here. Respect for multiple time. And most likely because we reach in the monthly level, monthly chart, this zone, okay? And this is still for me a very strong zone, very strong demand zone. At least I don't expect to cross the price below straight away. Okay, that's something I cannot expect after we see this huge volatility movement. That's especially the same from what we checked on the dollar index, having on the M30 or H4, for example, this type of consolidation, accumulating, distributing here. Okay, before the market make another big movement, either on the upside, either on the downside. The macro environment told us if we go with the news and what's going on over the world, I would buy the dollar and sell the euro. Okay, the euro is highly affected by the war in Ukraine and Russia, and the dollar, all the investors and all the people that want to hedge themselves against the sell-off in the capital markets want to buy the dollar. So if I look on a economical basis and macroeconomical aspects, I would sell without looking at the chart. I would sell the euro dollar, for example. Looking at that chart, okay, when as a day trader you must have a certain understanding in technical analysis and what's going on with price action and chart. I don't see myself making a short here, making a sell here. Even I still believe that the dollar is very strong, and we'll see the near future of maybe like at 1 for the euro dollar. I don't feel comfortable by making a sell here. So the only thing I will do is probably making a buy with a very strict and tight risk management. That would be the only thing I would be focusing probably on this week. We had already here some opportunities to make accumulation and probably for some people that day trades already taking some profits after this small movement all the time. But I would be selling only if I see like a huge breakout on the downside. So it will probably attract my stop loss because I won't be selling here. Waiting for a certain retracement. And when I see that the trend is very clear, I will sell. Only when the price cross below, I will be thinking, okay, technically, macroeconomically, we want to buy the dollar. Technically, there is nothing to tell us to make a buy, so I will sell. But here we are kind of in a zone that is critical for the next weeks and for the next months, according to the monthly chart. Okay, if we cross here this support zone, there is high chance that we reach maybe below, let's say, I will not go far, but maybe we can reach the parity. The euro dollar can be 1 if we cross this demand here. But technically, there is a lot of indicators telling us to not selling here, but the opposite, making a buy. So this is for the euro dollar. For the dollar yen, it's quite the same. Yeah, not quite the same because the yen is even more weak than the euro. But the dollar is still strengthening against the yen. We see this, it's arrived to a zone. It's arrived to a zone close from 2022. It's like the 20 years level here. I think what we should take in consideration is, if I remember, the Bank of Japan told that if the price reach 130 or 135, they will intervene in the market. So you have to be checking the news all day and all week to check if here there wouldn't be an intervention of the bank into the market. Generally, a country believe that its currencies are generally strong, and Japan is believing the yen. And when you see that, I don't know, in less than a year, the yen against the dollar depreciate by 30%, it's a strong movement. So all the economy is affected. This is quite huge here. when a price is entering a demand or a supply, I'm checking for accumulation or distribution into this zone, okay, like we see in the euro dollar just before. It will be also the same on gold. I just want to come back to the euro dollar. Okay, you see here, this is a yearly demand zone. Okay, this is like the 2015 and 2014 zone here. This is a support. So I want to check maybe to lower time frame like the H4, and when I see this type here, okay, of accumulation, distribution, okay, this will tell me that the demand is or starting to get consumed, okay, or starting to attract some buyers to make a higher movement. Okay, so I'm trying to look when we reach a demand zone or where we reach a supply zone to find this type of movement in order to make a buy or a sell. Here I won't make a sell because we are still holding this zone, and on the monthly chart we are at a demand. Okay, that's only why. Only if we break below, okay, I will wait for a retrace and opening a sell. What input parameters does Bollinger Bands have? This is the classic Bollinger Bands, actually. This is the training period and the 2 standard deviation. That's it. Okay, let's move to one of the main and best opportunities we can find in this type of scenario and this type of let's say macro environment. It would be commodities and especially metals. Okay, it will be gold and silver. Let's start with gold. Okay, for people that know cups and handle, okay, this is one here. Okay, you have cup and handle. So it's one of the technically figure that we might see a lot. Okay, in technically trading. But what is very interesting, it's here the macro news and what's happening in the world and what's happening technically is very correlated. And that's why for me the best spot and the best things to make for the following weeks and even today or even the next days, even maybe not next month because we don't know what's going to happen, but at least for this week, this is going to be a great investment, at least for me. Okay, so from 2018, okay, the gold is rising. Okay, we know that gold is a safe asset, known as a safe asset. And more likely when we are in a crisis, when we have a huge sell-off in the capital markets, when there is some fear in the market, investors want to hedge themselves into the gold because it's a physical asset and because it's not paper, it's something that you can hold. So a lot of investors are speculating into the gold. Okay, so this is what we see here from 2018. This is here the COVID. Okay, so you see here the big drop. And then rising after the fear that the crisis is going to be still here. This is one of the first drop that we see on the S&P that reach especially to that top. And here we are approaching a zone where it can attract some buyers. Okay, I think already today we make a bounce here into that zone. This was the top that we expected, and we make here actually the retest. Okay, so this is for me one of the main interesting I would be looking for the week. Gold and silver as well. Okay, if you go to the daily chart as well, you will see this type of trend line. This is clearly an uptrend line, as we see the low is all the time higher. And we respect a little bit here. So I would be looking to accumulate and still continuing creating my position around this zone. it is going to be between 1,800, I don't know, 50 to 1,865 approximately. This would be for me a key zone, and I will be creating my position here. I'm highly expecting to have a breakout all-time high in the next month, maybe this year. We're gonna see that. But yes, and commodities. If I don't want to look only to gold, but I look at the whole commodity basket, commodities is completely firing in opposite to what we see in the capital markets. This is a hedging against inflation, as we all know, and especially gold when we are in a risk-off environment, and that especially what we are getting for the near future, at least. So this would be for me here one of a great spot for the week. This would be the same for silver. Okay, silver is also in a nice demand spot. You see here that this zone is holding at least from July 2020. This is almost 2 years that we hold this zone, and for people that know a little bit more about in micro in silver, but all the signals are telling us that silver might be bullish. There is also the ratio between silver and gold that is at the lowest point from many years right now. Technically, we are in a zone for the weekly chart on the silver. Same for the daily chart. You see here starting to create a pin bar, or maybe on the H4. This would be only for long-term positioning, for long-term investment. Of course, you can find daily opportunities with this kind of thing, but you have to be ready for a huge volatility, maybe making a new low and coming back again to the zone. But here for me, this support, that's something that I will defend. And if I see to the monthly chart, there is a lot of place to go. If I believe that we are still in a commodity a bull market, you see what happened with wheat, for example, what happened in oil, for example, in gold, and it's probably going to happen in other commodities like sugar and like silver, for example. So this is one of my point here. If I go to the Australian dollar as well, on the daily chart, it's going very difficult for me to make a sell. At least we are still holding this bar. I don't know if Bob, if you're looking for a short-term movement, a long-term movement. When I see this type here of huge extended movements on the downside, we are probably in an oversold movement. If you look about a micro environment, probably it can be the spot for making a sell, but technically there is nothing for me here to make a short. The risk reward would be very difficult to achieve, at least 1 to 2. Generally, what I want to hold the trade, it will be at least a risk reward of 1 to 2, and here it's very difficult to manage a trade that expecting a breakout. Okay, I want to react to the market and not expect what the market going to do, and actually we didn't break anything here, so the support is still holding, and it will be, as a trader, less it will be like more easy for me to under buy here, because the stop loss will be like a psychological level below the zone that we support, and I can find the target around here, that would be the supply, for example. So the risk reward for this type of trade, if I want to go long even here, it will be 70 pip stop loss for 240 pips. target. So you see it's at least 1 to 3 risk reward. So it's going to be very easy to manage this type of trades. In opposite, if you want to make a sell, okay, here this is a zone. You see that the price didn't reach. When you have to sell here, you will sell here, but you don't know too much where you put the stop loss. Okay, maybe on the H4 you will put the stop loss here, probably above here. Personally, it's very difficult to handle this type of trades. This is how I think and how I my psychology affect. So this is my point of view, at least. Okay. Let's move on to the dollar CAD, because also here there is a great spot to make something. This is your key zone, even if you go below. See, it was clearly a demand that created a supply zone for the dollar CAD on the weekly chart. On the daily, we arrive in a supply area. So this is the same scenario that I showed just before on the Aussie dollar. Okay, I won't personally. This is my own view. I won't make a buy exactly at this point here. Okay, if I would make a buy and expecting a breakout, I don't know, I would be looking for a buy maybe at that zone, or that is, working with here, and I would be maybe waiting for a breakout, but buying, especially at this spot, for me is not the best price to get. Okay, if you want to expect a breakout, maybe on the H4, if you highly believe that it's going to be like a breakout on the upside, you also be buying here at the demand. Okay, but buying here would be highly difficult to manage, like I explained just before. How many pairs do I trade? It depends of the opportunity, but today and probably this week is going to be the dollar CAD. How we are in a supply, in a weekly supply. It's going to be the euro dollar as well for this week. Silver, gold. Maybe euro yen. Dollar yen is still going very difficult to make a trade. We are in a big uptrend, and it's very difficult to make anything there. But that would be the main pairs I would be focusing for this week. It depends the opportunity I find, but here there is almost all the dollar pairs are giving you a signal or any place to make some day trades. Yeah, on the pound yen also it can be like a nice spot. We didn't reach this zone. Yeah, I prefer to find here this demand zone and not buying here, at least for the long term. Yeah, we are starting to create a head and shoulders here. Okay, very difficult to make a buy here. Even you see on the H4 that on the H4 there is a support here on the H4. I want to make a buy. there is high chance that the price react more and make a movement to that zone especially, and that will be the zone I will be looking. But I don't expect to make this movement to here this week. This is actually the weekly chart, so so I would be looking at the pound yen, but maybe not trading it this week. So that's all I monitor my pairs for the following week. Okay, I would be waiting especially for this rectangle, maybe making an alert here, and when the price reach this alert, I will see what the best thing to do. But might be a buy when the price reach especially this zone. This is also point out here with the supply that react here. So here, especially at this rectangle, I would be making a signal and would be checking what's happening. Yeah, this is very interesting as well. I think we point out also last week the pound Australian, where it's still holding, the support is still holding. We see like this pin bar here, 2 pin bar that react. This is quite amazing, where you see that the price react. Look how the price was very accurate here on that spot. You had also here stochastics level that cross, especially here, maybe below, also here. And when we see that on the weekly chart, okay, when you see on the weekly chart that you have this ups and down movement, so this is for me like a big consolidation zone from 2018. Okay, this is still holding. I don't know too much the Australian economy. Maybe Jordan will be better for me on that aspect. So I invite you to join him on the Thursday trading room. Jordan is now with some trader as well in the 5ers. It's from Australia, so that's why he probably knows better about the Australian economy. But maybe the pound Australian doesn't have too much interest to make lower movement, higher movement. We are in a cycle, and you see the price holds here, so it's quite interesting. Okay, here on the HO it's very clear. Okay, you see especially this line holding with the stochastics very well. Actually here I don't know what to do too much, because we are especially at the average price, but definitely at that zone it was nice, a nice spot to make something. If I go to the lower time frame, yeah, very difficult. The main thing I have to look for maybe that week would be that zone. Okay, if the price continue to reach, you should be careful for the 1.77 zone here. If you're in a long position, that's fine, you already get the spot, but be ready for that zone to hold, or having a short retracement at that spot here. How much do I risk per trade? This is a nice question. If I have the 5ers account, okay, when you have a drawdown, let's say, if I take the instant funded accounts, when the drawdown is 4%, I would be risking 0.3% per trade. Okay, it will be 0.3% per trade here. Anything. In the bootcamp as well, it's gonna be 0.5% maximum. Okay, it will range between 0.3% and 0.5%. Okay, it depends how much I'm confident with the trade. If I'm very confident with the trades and the risk reward is high, I would go for 0.5. If we are in a middle zone, let's say, for, you see this example here, that we are in the middle and not in the extreme zone, I would be looking for 0.3% only. So that's why you should, according to your risk management, allocate higher risk for higher potential trades, and when you don't have all A+ signals, you should allocate less risk. This would be highly friendly in the long term by doing this type of risk management. But this is only up to you. You have to understand and find where are the best spots for your strategy. Yeah, it might give us another opportunity to go with silver here on the short term, but also in the long term. Okay, we have the middle demand here with this option line on M1, for example. This is something that can be working. Let me check what's going on the stock market. The market opens. I want to check what's going on. Yeah, it's open flat. Open 1% and 1.30% down for the S&P. That's what we see in the futures. But still, not much movement ups and down. We are still checking where the price is going. Okay. Okay, guys, if you have any more questions on the chat, let me know. Any pairs that you want to discuss or to analyze, or maybe any more questions regarding the economic situation that's actually affected the market, especially the dollar and also silver and gold. We're actually creating a double bottom here, might be. Okay, guys. Okay, I think we reached the end of the session. So thank you for people that attend the session today. We are going to make all the trading room this week at the American session, especially that time. So I think it's very comfortable for people trading from US. And this time is work for European session. It works also for American people. So we will continue with this schedule from here. Again, I want to wish you a nice trading week. Be careful with the volatility that's going to happen in the dollar, in the gold, in silver especially, but also in the capital markets, S&P, Nasdaq, and so on. We might have some important news that's coming out the following week, making another big movement. So you have to be ready. You have to have a strong risk management on that part. I think that's it. So guys, have a nice week. Wish you success, and bye bye. Ciao.